Hello, my name is Jamie, and today I'm doing an interview with a guest that doesn't need to be introduced. So, Mr. Zuckerberg, thank you for coming. How are you?
Nah, I'm doing great. I'm really, Jamie. Thank you, and I really appreciate you having me. It's an honor, really. Thank you.
Okay, Mark. During those first 3 months, did you write down a formal mission statement at the start?
Actually, you know what, Jamie? We actually didn't. We did not do that. Why? Because our core vision statement is very clear, very simple actually, for even, you could comprehend it too. It's to connect everyone. We're about the community spirit, if that makes sense to you. And our main business objective as a result of that was basically pure market penetration, because it gets the users basically getting the users which was more important to us than actually making profit and money. That was the initial goal, and as a result of that initial goal, that's how our company basically came about.
Okay, makes sense. So, your first focus was only universities? This is called market segmentation. How did you choose that specific target market?
Now look, Jamie, just to put it simply, it was a planned choice. It really was, because we did a quick SWOT analysis, and just for to understand what that actually means, that means strengths, weaknesses, opportunities and threats. And basically, this is what was really in our mind, because that helped frame our business and how we're going to go about it. And our strength was knowing the college network. We were familiar with it. We knew how it operated, and with that information, it was really vital. And our operating structure was flat to move fast, and we almost had no hierarchy. We collaborate in that sense. Yes.
Okay, makes sense. What about money? Fast growth must have hurt your cash flow.
No, I mean, it was very hard. It was really tricky. It was tough. Honestly, it was, because we constantly needed venture capital just to pay for the capital expenditure, because we had because on the servers, because they're the maintenance and the money needed there and the finances were very tricky in that sense. And we couldn't afford ads at the time. It just wasn't doable. So our entire marketing mix was just the product essentially. As you know, Facebook, that was literally the main part of it all, and it was basically all promotion. That was what we really focused on. That's what really worked in the end, promotion, because it gets the word out. It means we can grow and grow and grow, and that is very important. That's what kind of constituted our success to this very day. Yes.
Okay, Mark, that was very fascinating insight into your strategy. Thank you so much for your time.
No, pleasure, Jamie. Thank you. Thank you.
Hello, dear viewers. Today I am here with Pavel Durov, the founder of VKontakte and Telegram. We're going to ask him the most outstanding questions and see what the man has to say about himself. Hi, Mr. Durov.
Hello, ma'am.
What problem were you trying to solve when you first started building platforms like VK and later Telegram?
When I built Kontakte, the problem was simple. There was no modern space for teens in Russia to communicate and express themselves. So I wanted to create a platform that wasn't bureaucratic, slow, or outdated. Something fast, intuitive, and free. Telegram, however, had a different idea. It was born from the problem of privacy and freedom. I saw too many platforms compromised by governments, including now my own VKontakte, corporations, or both. I wanted a messenger where no one could violate users' private data.
Was there a specific moment when you realized Telegram had to exist, something that pushed you to commit it fully?
When I realized how fragile digital freedom is, the pressure I faced with VKontakte from the Russian government pushed me to create Telegram that would be a free space for all people around the globe.
What has been the hardest decision in Telegram's growth, and what did it teach you?
Well, again, the hardest decision was refusing government's demands that conflict with user privacy, especially when those demands those refusals meant losing markets or facing bans. It taught me growth isn't worth what I stand for. It's not worth giving up my principle just to get profits.
If you could redo one major decision in your entrepreneurial journey, what would you approach differently today?
I would scale international teams much faster, because now I see it's one of the best way for my company to grow. But can't really complain. Telegram is already a global messenger and it's doing pretty well.
How do you structure and lead a company that operates globally and often under pressure from governments?
Small teams of exceptional people, minimum bureaucracy and maximum of privacy. If you hire smart people, you have to remove the obstacles for them so that they can do their job. And with that, anything is possible.
What do you think founders get wrong when building platforms meant for millions of people?
They build for stakeholders and investors instead of the people who are going to be using the programs. Or even worse, they build with the assumption that they will extract data from those users and will sell it to the government. Users aren't resources. They are partners that we have to work with closely.
How do you balance keeping Telegram free and independent with the need to make it financially sustainable?
By designing revenue plans that don't contradict with user privacy. But I do have a paywall, except it only has things that are non-essential. Mostly consist of additional designs or choices a user can make to their interface, right?
What are you most excited about building next, either with Telegram or beyond it?
I'm excited to build programs and ideas that increase human freedom in the digital world, powerful privacy tools, of course, and global digital freedom. That's my goals.
When people look back on you, on your work decades from now, what do you hope they say you changed?
That I helped defend digital freedom when it was a threat. That I proved that a large program can be an independent one, and that I built tools that gave people more control over what they can do in their digital space. If that, of course, my legacy is enough for that.
Thank you very much.
No problem, ma'am.
So, hello. For those of you who do not know me, I'm Rihanna, and I am the CEO and founder of Fenty Beauty. So, as you can see, most people know me only as a global pop star and not as an entrepreneur. But today I'm going to ask you to leave behind the global pop star and see me as someone who found a difference and included everybody in society. So, what I created. So in 2017, I created the brand Fenty Beauty. I had noticed that there were a lot of makeup brands, but they didn't include every shade for every person. There were either not enough shades for those with much darker skin, or for those with much lighter skin. So what I decided to do was to include everybody. So I decided to change that with Fenty Beauty. Fenty Beauty launched 40 new foundations that included not just those who had the average skin tones, but those who didn't even have it, for those who are darker or much lighter. In the end, I sold 40 of them, which was really successful. So as you can see, here are some of the shades, and there are more, but a lot of the time, most companies normally stay around this side because they don't see a point of including those who are much darker or much lighter because there's not many of them. But there are lots of people actually who have much darker tones or much lighter tones. So my mission wasn't just to create makeup for a few, it was to create confidence for everyone. So, I didn't do this alone. So I had partnered with LVMH, which is one of the luxury fashion and makeup industries in the world. And so they had helped me see my vision and my mission. And so, probably don't know this guy, but he goes underneath a lot of different companies like Dior or Louis Vuitton. And so most of the brands go underneath this company. The only issue was that they didn't really see me as an entrepreneur or as a CEO. They only saw me as a global pop star and didn't really think that I could make it. And so in the end, I decided to move away, not only stay to the makeup side, I decided to also move to the fashion side to show people that I was actually serious about becoming someone important, becoming an entrepreneur. So that's when I created the other line, which was Savage X Fenty, which was also some other clothing, which was also part of the brand. To include everybody, so not just those who have the perfect body, but to include everybody from the scale. Oops. So there were quite a lot of challenges that I faced. Some of the main challenges I faced was that Look, the LVMH is a really tough space because there's a lot of competition between lots of different groups. As you saw, there was Dior and there was Louis Vuitton, which makes it really hard for me to compete with them, And so in the end, at some point, my business started to go down and I wasn't making much profit and not a lot of things were being sold. Also, you had to have a lot of profit for yourself in order to continue the business, which I currently didn't have since the only income that I really had was from my music, which I had stopped for quite a while. But instead of calling it a failure, I treated it as a lesson. I learned that innovation means experimenting and sometimes experiments involve. So at some point, So what happened was that after that failed, I decided to start up again. This time I decided to properly work with the brand, with the LVMH. I decided to do my own experiments. I tested products. I called other people who would tell me whether or not they think that it would work for them or if it didn't work with them. I tried to work more with the people since my original idea was for the people. And so one of the missions that I had, one of my mission statement was there needs to be something for a girl who looks like me, for a girl with my skin tone, for every kind of woman. So which means I wanted to not just include those who had the average skin tone, I wanted to include everybody, which is some of the 3 things that I learned and I believe that every entrepreneur should remember. So the first thing that I saw and I think other people should really see is the gap. When not everybody is heard or when everybody is seen, that's when you can create an idea that helps involve everybody. And therefore you can make a business idea out of it. Another thing is to stay authentic. So my brand reflects my personal story since I have Caribbean roots and since a lot of the time there was not a lot of shades for me or for those in my family or for those all around me. So in the end, I decided to stay authentic by making sure that I stuck to including everybody and not just the norm or what other brands agreed on. And so lead with purpose was another one, which is where I decided to show my brand for everybody. So I decided to move on with my brand. I didn't do it only halfway. I decided to go the full way in order to achieve my mission. And so some of the things that I achieved and I'm quite proud of. So one of them is that Fenty Beauty made over 100 million in its first 40 days. And now it's valued over 2 billion. And so my personal net worth, now most people think that the reason why I'm so rich is because of my singing, but it's actually not. It was actually mostly for my business and because I included everybody else in it, because I was not doing it for myself, but I was doing it for the people. In the end, a lot of my net worth and my money came from my actual business. And so now what happened was that a lot of other brands noticed that my brand was doing really well and they had to catch up because now there was a large demand for different shades, for different clothing, for including everybody. So brands like Dior or Maybelline, they had to catch up in order to fit with the rest of the market and to fit with the people's needs. And so another thing is that now I am no longer the CEO. Recently, I had gone down and stepped away from being the CEO instead to enjoy some family time. But I do share, the person now who's taken over does share my experience where they want to include everybody and not just include the normal people or the so-called normal people, but include everybody. And so I'd like to thank you for watching my presentation.
So, hello everyone, thank you for having me here. And many of you probably know me. My name is Joanne Rowling. Everyone probably knows me as an author from my books, most likely Harry Potter series. But I'm not only an author, I'm also an entrepreneur. So, as you all know, my most important book was the Harry Potter series, but it wasn't only the books that I accomplished from this. I created many other things. For example, you've probably seen theme parks, or you've probably seen toys and other things. For example, the movies. And due to the reason that I kept a lot of the intellectual property, also known as the IP, to my work, I had a lot of control of it. I chose characters, I chose the actors, I helped choose, of course. Wasn't only my decision. This was one of my objectives of life. So for my series, for the Harry Potter series, to stay authentic and high quality. This may all seem simple because everyone probably knows about it, but it wasn't like that in the beginning. In the beginning, it was hard to find a publisher for my book to start. I was rejected from the community. It only after I overcame that did it start to actually go uphill. But now I am much richer. My series is much more important, and from this I gain a lot of people see me, and from this I also accomplish my other objective, my social objective, to help people. For example, I helped found the Volant Charitable Trust, or co-founded Lumos, which they all help either children or women, which was one of my key objectives, and I'm very proud of my work that accomplished this. Another way, it was from my online business. Everyone probably knows about it. Pottermore. It was what I called. It was a website for fans. It's called now Wizarding World. I don't know if you heard of it. Probably yes, probably no. It was a platform. I used to own it. I did it, but now someone else has control over it. Through also my work, I created a lot of jobs for other people, like actors, like publishers, filmmakers, marketers, and everything else. My work now includes a lot of other countries. We know the books, which isn't only the Harry Potter books, but it is the known ones, are in multiple languages, and a lot of people, it is recognizable across the world. Which was also one of my objectives. It was so my business could stay authentic, and it does so. We know that the Harry Potter series and my other books, I built a business from it, and one would say an empire, due to the amount of viewers and everything else. I think this is the main reasons why I should be considered an entrepreneur, and I am, but many people don't see it because they see an author first and not a businesswoman, and that's why I'm here to talk to you. Thank you very much for listening.